Today I'm going to be creating an airbrush text effect on Photoshop, and this is supposed to mimic those t-shirts that you used to get in the 90s where they would airbrush your name on it, and you could find them sometimes at like carnivals now, and yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up a new file, and I'm going to make it 7 by 5 inches at 300 ppi. I'm going to keep the background white just because usually the airbrush t-shirts are white. I'm going to go into text. I chose Calgary script, and now I'm just going to type Aaliyah and just place it wherever you would like. The initial color of the text doesn't really matter just because you're going to add a gradient overlay. And I'm going to double click on your text and open the blending options. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the gradient overlay. In this case, I went with a darker, almost navy blue and a light blue. And for the settings on the gradient overlay, you just want to make sure your opacity is at 100. The next thing I'm going to add is a drop shadow. This is just your first initial drop shadow, just to create some depth within the text. And I have it at 7, 17, and 15 for the distance, the spread, and the size. And I have the angle at 149 just so it can pop out from the bottom right. And I'm going to go with black as our color. And make sure the opacity is at 100 again. And I'm going to add another drop shadow. And for this one, I'm going to do a darker blue. I'm just going with a blue theme for the text. And for the distance, spread, and the size on this one, you just want to make sure it goes higher than the last drop shadow so that it can really pop out. And then we add another drop shadow. I'm going with a light blue. And you want to make sure that, again, the numbers just increase as you add the drop shadow. And that was the color. I'm adjusting the color a little bit. And make sure the noise is off. And then you have your 3 drop shadows. And that's what kind of creates that airbrushed look. And then you have your inner shadow. I'm gonna make sure it's at 100% opacity. I'm also gonna have an angle at 149 just because that's the angle I wanted it to come from. For distance, I don't want it out too much, so I have it at 6. I have 0 choke and 18 size, and that's pretty much all you have to do. And now I'm just gonna create some additional things like the sparkles, and I do the pen tool, duplicate, and I rotate it, and then I merge the shape, and then I duplicate it and rotate it, and then again merge the shape, and then I'm gonna transform to make it smaller, and just duplicate and place them around the letters as you would like. Usually for those airbrush shirts, they do have a circle around the name, so I'm just gonna copy and paste that from my original project and place it on here and just adjust it as needed. I just used a certain brush to create this effect, and then I added a drop shadow.